Hello, welcome back to my channel. So this is a two-part video. This is actually the second part of the video. You may want to go and watch the first part of the video so you can understand where I'm coming from. So welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my experience after I lost my twins. So yeah, in the previous video I talked about everything concerning the pregnancy, the twin and all that. So yeah, I'm going to jump right into this one. So after I lost my twin in May 2018, I was told to like give myself time 3 to 6 months before I would, start trying for another baby. As God will have it, in October in October of 2018 I was pregnant again. I remember being so excited. I was like, okay, let me not go and do scan. Let me not go and check whether it's twins or whether it's one baby or whatever. But eventually, okay, so I was just, just normal pregnant, just moving on with my life and everything. But then it didn't really feel so, I don't know, I always have morning sickness. Morning sickness is something that is there with me. Like once I become pregnant, by 5-6 weeks, morning sickness sets in. And so yeah, normally it's setting, but I just felt it was a bit more intense. I was so sick. I was really sick, and I was like, wow. So I decided to go to the hospital, and I went to the hospital and they did an ultrasound, because first time coming in, they did an ultrasound, and I was told, the doctor was like, the doctor had to call in another doctor to come and check whatever. I was like, I hope everything is fine. He's like, no worry, don't worry. And they checked, and they were speaking all those medical grammar, clinical. I was just lying down there like, what are these people talking about, So eventually I was asked to come down from the ultrasound desk or bed and go and sit down and meet the doctor. At this point I knew something was wrong, because why would you tell me? You didn't say what you are seeing. You don't even explain to me what you are seeing. You're telling me to go and just sit down and talk to the doctor. And so I sat down, and the doctor in this case was actually my father-in-law, and he started talking to me about molar pregnancy. I did not even know what it was, how it's nothing to be scared about, how can I even understand the situation? But they were all just trying to tell me that, okay, it's something that happens to some people, they will just have to take it out. I'm like, I just found that I'm pregnant. This is my very first ultrasound, and you are telling me take what out? Like, what's happening here? Apparently what happened was that there is a normal shape for, what do you call it now, a sac, right? A sac where you have the fetus and everything. There's a normal shape for it, and so when it's presented in an irregular shape, there is something that they call molar pregnancy. So this molar pregnancy is where you have a mass. It's supposed to be a pregnancy, but then it's not a pregnancy. So people who have molar pregnancy go on to have that, I don't know what to call it now, the mass, have that mass grow, they continue to grow like a baby. If you don't actually go in to check and see what it is, you will not know that you are actually not carrying a baby. And yeah, that was what I had. That, so you can just go and Google molar pregnancy and read more on it. So I had molar pregnancy, and it's definitely not a baby. You need to take it out, and you need to keep going for some other treatments, because it could mean other things. So they were trying to explain all that to me. My head was just turning on its own. I was like, what's happening here? I'm pregnant, please. I don't want to hear stories. I am pregnant. But eventually I was not pregnant. Okay, I was pregnant, but it wasn't a baby per se. And so without wasting time, I was scheduled for a D&C. A D&C is for you to scrape off all the product of conception. And so this was my second time of having a D&C in a matter of how many months now? About 4 to 5 months. And so yeah, I went in with some, I was even like, can we just wait? Let's be sure. Let's just hold on and be sure that, they said, no, there's no time. You don't need to wait. So just, I went in, I took out I had the surgery or the D&C. And that was, I would say, the beginning of my journey into Asherman syndrome, okay, which is the actual topic of this video, into Asherman syndrome. So basically, I've made a video earlier on what I know Asherman syndrome is, and the causes and everything. So in my own case, it was caused by several D&Cs done on me. And yeah, so basically it's adhesions in your uterus. And that was how I, after I had that second D&C, by the following year, my period, this was in October, my period didn't come out at all. October, November, December, January, February, March, up until like May of the following year, I did not have a period, and I just felt it was not normal. I went back to the hospital, and this time I was asked to go and do what they call HSG. I'm going to leave the link to the video of where I talked about Asherman syndrome in depth, so you can watch that. So I did HSG, and they found out that yes, I was fully diagnosed of Asherman syndrome. And that was the beginning of my journey. This was now in 2019. That was the beginning of my journey with Asherman syndrome. So Asherman syndrome is actually an acquired syndrome. That means you're not born with it, okay? And so that was how I started my journey with Asherman syndrome, all right? So at this point, May 2019, I was diagnosed of Asherman, yeah? And I was told I was going to come in for surgery. Everything was just like, what is even happening? From molar pregnancy, now Asherman syndrome, now this, now that, and now I have to go in for surgery, which I was like, I don't think I need surgery. But then after I had the HSG, my period actually started coming, but then there was a difference. It wasn't coming as before. It was coming like in trickles. It wasn't heavy at all. Everything changed. It wasn't heavy at all. I felt okay, maybe after a while it's going to correct itself, but it never corrected itself. So towards the end of 2019, I had to go to the gynecologist. I had to go back to the gynecologist, and he said, you know what, you really need to go in for this surgery if you want everything to for you to be free of Asherman. You may need to do a series of surgery. And I wasn't really ready for all those drama and all those going in for surgery and stuff, so I kept on postponing it up until 2020 when they had the lockdown. I was just like, okay, since I'm not going to work, we're all at home, let me just go in now and get that surgery done. And so I went in 2020. I got the surgery. This was around March of 2020. I got the surgery done. But then the thing with Asherman syndrome is that one surgery sometimes may not be enough. And in my own case, after I had that, things seemed to go back to normal. But then after a while, it went back to how it was before. And so I was told I needed a second surgery. So the reason why I'm making this video is, first of all, to like do like a little story time of how my life changed and how I got to the point of having Asherman syndrome, and how I got to the point of being pregnant with Asherman syndrome. Honestly, I am just grateful. I'm just grateful because I never knew. I'd already given up hope. Honestly, I gave up hope of ever being pregnant or ever having a baby again before God actually said, you know what, it's me that will say when you stop giving birth, right? And he blessed me with this baby. Last week I went in to see my doctor to be sure that everything was fine, to do some finishing touches in preparation for the birth and everything. And he was still amazed. He was still talking about how amazed he is that everything worked out for me, reminding me of the fact that I even needed to go in for a second surgery, and God showed up and blessed me despite the fact that I was supposed to go in for a second surgery. He was just really wild, and it just made me to actually sit down, and I know that this is a blessing. I know that I am so blessed to be given another opportunity to birth a child and be pregnant with a baby and everything. But him saying it that day really made me to be like, yes, that is just true. And I am just very grateful. I want to use this last part of this video to encourage somebody. Honestly, sometimes it is at that time that you think everything is looking so messed up. That is when God will show up. And most times I have seen it from my own experience that God will always show up. I don't want to be sounding like a preacher or anything, but this is just the truth, okay? Sometimes for me, in my own experience in my life, it is when things get so bad that God shows up. and he's showing up at that time, not because he did not want to show up before, but because he wants it to be clear that he's the one that did this thing. He does not want to share his glory with anybody. So I just feel that that is what happened in my case. There are times, there are events that happened to me in my life, and it is just very clear that God specifically planned this thing to happen this way. And when it happens, I am just like, oh my goodness. Honestly, I'll probably like share those stories with you, but he is always so perfect in his timing. I am not kidding. He is always so perfect in his timing, and I know I am not alone. I won't say I'm the apple of God's eye. Like, we are many that are the apple of God's eye. We are plenty. God loves all of us, and so I believe the same way he's doing it for me, he's doing it for others as well. So some things may be happening to you and you feel, why is everybody around me getting pregnant and I'm not? I used to think that way. I've been in that situation. I thought about, like, things have happened. I'm just like, all right, everybody's not pregnant now. Me, they will touch me. They will, everything, nothing is working for me. You know, I've been there, and it's not a very wonderful situation to be in. I have friends who have been trying to conceive. I know people who have been trying to conceive, and I know how difficult it can be. So I just want to use this last part of this video to encourage somebody and to say that if you believe in God, or if you believe in a superior being, that, you know, he would always come true for you. He would always come true for you. And when he comes true for you, yes, at this point when you are begging him and saying, oh God, please do this thing for me, it may feel like he's not listening to you, but he has heard you. He's just waiting for the right time. At least that's what happened to me. I know that God heard my prayer a long time ago. There was a time that I would always, if you follow me, like if you're my contact on WhatsApp, my status was always, I want a baby, I desire a baby, this baby, I'll put a picture of a baby, and I'll be like, oh my goodness, God, when? And that was a lot. That was like 2-3 years ago, and after a while I just stopped, you know. And I remember that day, like when I went to see my doctor, he actually told me, you desired a baby, you prayed for a baby, and you have a baby. And that's just the truth. The same way I desire for a baby, I know some people out there also desire for a baby, and God will come through for you. He has heard you. That's just it. He has heard you. He's just waiting for the perfect time. And when he blesses you at that perfect time, honestly, you would see it with your eyes that it is actually the perfect time. I've said this several times in my channel. If I had this baby earlier than now, yes, I'll be happy that I had a baby, but this is just the very perfect time. Career-wise, I am working in a place where I have total peace of mind. I am not as stressed out as I used to be in where I was working in a commercial bank. Financially, I would say I am much stable now. Generally, many things in my life is just coming into place, and this is the most perfect time for me to have a child. I am not kidding you. And that is going to be the same for you. When God comes through for you, when he gives you that gift of a baby that you're seeking, you will see with your eyes that it is the most perfect time, because he's a perfect God. Like I said, I don't want to be sounding like a preacher, but I just felt I needed to share my story and to use it to encourage somebody. When I made that video of the Asherman syndrome, I did not expect people to come to my Instagram page and, you know, thank me and ask me questions on the Asherman. That's what I want. That's my reason for making some of these videos, because even if it's one person, 2 people, 4 people that it helps, it is something. People were coming into my DM to ask me, where did you do that surgery? I want to go to that hospital. Yes, you can go to the hospital, but at the end of the day, it is still God that will perfect everything. So I hope this video helps somebody. Honestly, I do hope this video speaks to somebody today and forever whenever you watch this video. Okay, so yeah, thank you so much for watching. As usual, I am so grateful. You guys have no idea. I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it encouraged you. Yeah, Until next time, subscribe, share, like, all those good stuff. Let's chat in the comment section.